In today's fan mail segment, we will be addressing only one topic: advice for our young scholars. Oh, come on then, what are you waiting for? This way, let's go. Come on, let's go to the new room. Woo. This is me definitely walking a very long distance to convince you I'm going to a new room. Bye. Gotta learn to stride with confidence, kids. Like this. This is how you get places in the world. Let's go to a new room. And this is why I don't change rooms too often. This house is enormous. For this idea, I am indebted to a young Master Jonathan from Chicago, Illinois. He writes, "Miss Ripley, I admire your show very much indeed, and have been watching for a good while now. Just now, I bought for myself the complete works of Aristotle and also Plato, who I hope you will talk about a bit more. I should like to know how I can be a better student. Would you please tell me how? P.S. I quite like that fine hat and cape of yours. What did you do to get them? Best wishes, Jonathan, age 10. Normally I would defer to the wisdom of our favourite Greek philosopher. However, in this case, I'm afraid he rather disappoints. Aristotle recommends that one should pursue habits and pursuits which are fitting to one's age, and that this should be regulated by the law. We read as follows. To live a hard and sober life is not an attractive prospect for most, especially when they are young. For this reason, the nurture and pursuits of young persons should be regulated by law, for hard conditions and sober living will cease to be painful when they have become habitual. Of course, it is not enough to receive the right nurture and supervision in youth. We must also practice what we have learnt and make a habit of it when we are grown up. So we shall need laws for the regulation of adult behaviour as well, for the whole, indeed, of our lives. For people are, by and large, readier to submit to punishment and compulsion than moved by arguments and ideals. Elsewhere in Aristotle's Politics, we read that the youth should be engaging in military training, since they are yet to acquire sufficient life experiences which would allow them to engage in more intellectual pursuits, such as politics. Needless to say, I will not be endorsing this. Instead, I will be falling back upon my own life experiences and the lessons I've learnt from them, which I trust won't be entirely inaccurate, given that it's taken me about 20 years of education to get to where I am today. Now, to the first order of business. One's health. Now, I am not a physician, as the world is only too fond of reminding me. Never mind the fact that I too am swimming in student debt and a saviour complex. Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me if I did not include those improvements which have been the most beneficial to my life. Now, what follows is only applicable in the most general sense, I am not your general practitioner. I'm not trying to replace them either. Nor are these meant to supersede any particular diagnoses that you may have. Those must take priority. A balanced, enriching diet feeds my mind just as well as it does my body. I can never embark on any sort of mental work unless I have first prepared for myself a good breakfast or lunch. I did not take such measures in high school and suffered terribly for it. Each and every morning, I always make a habit of stepping outside for some fresh air and sunshine. When I'm not working in my garden, I find that a good brisk walk is always illuminating, particularly in the colder seasons. A consistent sleep routine is the backbone of any serious study that I undertake. As a night owl, I have mourned the loss of those early hours in which the mind seems to reach new heights. And yet, I have not missed the toll it has taken on my health. I need to sneeze. Oh, crikey. I am not a psychologist, though many of my relatives beg to differ. The rational, or shall we say, human mind is a thing both tenuous and tenacious, both terrible and tremendous. We may find that much of its workings are beyond our control. Now, my mental acuity, feeble as it may be, has greatly benefited from the aforementioned points on physical health. This may be complemented by a carefully considered routine, which considers work, rest, and any other of life's most important moments. Most importantly, it has to take into consideration the particular circumstances that one is faced with. Academics are particularly susceptible to forgetting this last point. Now, I am not a theologian, nor do I have any intentions on becoming one. However, I don't think it takes being a theologian to recognise that religion and spirituality can be an important part of one's life, and therefore one's well-being. If this is an aspect of your life, and if we are attempting to sketch as well-rounded a picture of well-being as we can, this too will have to be considered carefully. Look to its revered adherents, its scrupulous scholars, martyrs, and confessors. I'd wager you might just find better exemplars of all things good, true, and beautiful than I. Now, as to the work itself. Now, this is really quite simple, though people do love to make it rather complicated, as though their commonsensical notions were really the coveted secrets of a race of higher beings known as intellectuals. Dedicate a space to your work, which is away from where you sleep or rest. Make it comfortable for the long hours ahead, but not so comfortable that you have no desire to leave it. Have everything that you need for the work and nothing more. Invest, if you can, in good materials, or at least ones which will not impede the work and will actually preserve it. I myself prefer a fountain pen for my initial drafts. I don't mind so much what paper I use, but a good pen is essential. My hand cramps up and my handwriting is atrocious. For subsequent redrafts, I use a typewriter, which is hardly the most convenient bit of kit, which is probably why I've acquired 3 of the damn things. Lastly, work at a reasoned pace. This is a marathon, not a race. For example, every 30 minutes or so, take a 20-minute break, and so forth, or whatever pace you prefer. And this may differ from day to day. Well, I believe that suffices to answer your first question, Jonathan. As to your second, shall I let you in on a little secret? Any old fool with a needle and thread can fashion a pretty cap to sit atop their head, or drape some fine velvet in an elegant shape across their shoulders for a cape. Whether this style beguiles or flatters, it's the intended purpose that truly matters.